All right, good morning and good afternoon, everybody. I'm Derek Lukowitz. I'm the marketing lead here at the Donis Group, and I'd like to welcome you to our Lunch and Learn event on Acumatica CRM module. Joining me today is Jay Horace and Bob Donald. They will be your presenters. And before we get started, I wanted to go over a couple of quick housekeeping items. First, we are recording today's presentation so that we can have it on our YouTube channel and website. So I've got everybody placed in mute so that we can minimize the amount of background noise. You still have the ability to interact with us, so please feel free to raise your hand in the interface or ask questions through the Q&A session there. We've just designated some time towards the end of the presentation to work with those questions, so don't be shy. We've got some time set aside for that. Secondly, you should have all received your Grubhub vouchers for the lunch portion of today's presentation. If you're new to our presentations, you would have received a welcome email from Grubhub with instructions on how to set up the account. If you've been with us before, the voucher would have just been added to your account that you've already got established. Please make sure to use that within the next 24 hours because we want to make sure it goes away after that. So if you have any questions or problems with that, please don't hesitate to reach out to me directly. All right, so that said, let's go ahead and take a look at today's agenda. Jay's going to go start things off for us. He's going to do a little bit about the Donis Group, a little bit about Acumatica as a company, and then he's going to hand things over to Bob to go over the demo part of the process, some of the functions and features of the CRM module. When Bob's done, he's going to hand it back over to me, and I'll jump on and go through your questions with the guys, and then we'll deal with some next steps and get you guys back to your work day. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand things over to Jay, and we can get things going. Jay, you have control.
Okay. Well, welcome everybody. Thanks, Derek. I'm glad to see that you're all aboard here for today's session. Since 1996, the Donis Group has been working with a wide variety of customers in many industries. We attribute our longevity to our commitment to staying current with technologies and certifications. This has allowed us to support and service our customers and develop long-term relationships. Developed for resilient businesses, Acumatica Cloud ERP is the most usable, adaptable, and affordable business management solution available today. Built for mobile and telework scenarios, it easily integrates with the collaboration tools of your choice. Acumatica delivers flexibility, efficiency, and continuity of operations to growing small and mid-market organizations. With internet availability, you can connect to your system to many of today's interactive devices. Whether desktop, smartphone, laptop, or even Alexa, you can access and work from the location of your choice. There's no per-seat premium, so your technology can scale with your business instead of being a drag on your growth. Every authorized person can access, create, and receive the information they need to drive business, regardless of whether they are frequent or casual users, internal employees, external vendors, partners, or customers. With Acumatica's flexible consumption-based licensing plans, you only pay for the computing power you need. Our pricing is designed to be stable and predictable, geared to your growth. Acumatica is committed to customer success. Acumatica's Net Promoter Score is quite commendable. The Net Promoter Score gauges the loyalty of a firm's customer relationships and ranges between minus and positive 100. A plus 50 is considered excellent. Some examples that I'm sure you're familiar with: Southwest Airlines, they come in at a plus 3. Disney comes in at a plus 11. In the 10 plus years of Acumatica's existence, they've averaged 700 customers a year, or about 2 a day. The NPS plus Acumatica's high support satisfaction are reasons why Acumatica is the fastest growing cloud ERP company. Leading research firm IDC, who focuses on the tech landscape, has named Acumatica a leader in mid-market ERP, which included over 23 ERP offerings. John Roskill, CEO of Acumatica, attributes this to the investment that Acumatica has made in delivering a product that is innovative and high on the customer usability scale. Acumatica's CRM process allows team collaboration, working with leads during different stages through customer conversion. Multiple importing methods allow obtaining inputs from many of today's popular sources. Tasks, events, and reporting tools allow working effectively to keep the process on track. Dashboards provide the key performance indicators that allow managing by exception. Standard out-of-the-box dashboards are totally customizable for KPIs geared towards what's important to your organization. Workspaces are grouped by functional area and facilitate everything associated with the area. Acumatica's commitment to current technologies provides the tools required in today's competitive environment. The sales team, through the mobile application, has all the power and capabilities needed to drive business from anywhere internet connectivity exists. From lead to deal, Acumatica CRM integrates seamlessly with their cloud ERP solution by sharing data from a single source, of which fosters company-wide collaboration, create proposals and quotes easily and turn them into orders, which provide the quick turnaround customers appreciate, and consolidation within a single application, providing visibility and efficiency to convert opportunities for sales success. And now I'll hand over control over to Bob, and he'll give you an overview of the CRM capabilities within the Acumatica product. Take it away, Bob.
All righty. Thank you, Jay. I'd like to welcome everybody to our CRM overview today. I'll start, we're going to start with a little bit of navigation before we jump into the CRM. I'd like to start off by saying, Acumatica, repeat some of the things that Jay had mentioned earlier. Acumatica is a browser based in the cloud system. It is supported by most browsers in use today, and access is role-based. So every person who logs into the software, and as Jay said before, its unlimited number of users are assigned a role. All security within the software is then controlled by these roles. Since it is in the cloud, that means that your data is accessible to you and your staff anywhere you have an internet-capable device and internet connection. The system is designed to be configurable. The whole idea was to minimize using a programmer to customize the look and feel of the product. Changes can be made fast with no code changing whatsoever. These changes can then be tied to a role or to an individual. This is a multi-company, multi-currency product. Everything that we'll be seeing today is standard Acumatica right out of the box with no customization or third-party products. That being said, there is a huge community of ISVs or independent software vendors that provide additional functionality to the base software. A good example of an ISV would be EDI. EDI is a third-party product that is offered within Acumatica. We're going to start here on the controller dashboard. This area here is referred to as the dashboard. This is completely configurable by the end user, and all displays our live data are updated in real time. Dashboards support an unlimited number of reports. This screen is currently showing, looks like 13 different reports. Each one of them has its own drill down capability. Each login can have their own unique dashboard. Since there are unlimited logins, there are unlimited dashboards. These are easy to create and change and are designed to be done by the user if they so choose. A couple of things, to look at, I'll call these tiles. These are all reports that are tied to information behind the scenes. each one of these can be drilled down into. The same with this report here. I can actually drill into reports that have information tied to my cash position, or in this case, top overdue balances. When I talk about moving things around, it's very easy if you go into the design mode. If you don't like the way things are, you can actually just move them around on the screen. The other thing that's controlled within here, you'll notice the different colors. There's a number of different colors. There's green, blue, red, yellow, and you can control what those colors mean based on different categories within the system. Like in this case, this one I've got green, yellow, and red, and this is a way of defining what becomes of that particular tile. The other dashboard I wanted to bring up is the Sales Manager. Within the Sales Manager, rather than a lot of dollars and such, there's a bunch of things in here which are called KPIs, or Key Performance Indicators. The neat thing is you define what these are, not the software. We include these as standard areas where people would find the information interesting, but then you can control what those are. For instance, for the Sales Manager, I'm looking at wins, losses, what's the trend, the salesman assigned to me, how they're doing in their sales versus quota, key customer growth. You'll notice I keep going to this favorites bar. Within the favorites, I can then define, it's like a shortcut menu to the different things that I want to get to. So now I'm going to bring up the custom review. Again, within the custom review, it's again active information that's live. For instance, you'll see orders to ship, late orders, open opportunities, which we'll be spending time talking about, overdue opportunities, items purchased, recent activities, and you'll see as I scroll, as you add more and more reports to the screen, it just keeps growing for the different things that you want to see. The whole idea here is that when you log into the screen, when you sit down at your desk or wherever, these are the things that you want to see immediately to make some quick decisions. Now, this happens to be for all customers within the system. If I change that and I say I want to look at USA, or let's see, ABC, and what I'm showing you here is that it's typing ahead. So as I'm starting to type, it's trying to anticipate what I'm looking for. So it's looking and scanning the database as fast as I'm typing it. In this case, I'm going to bring up USA bartending. And you'll notice that the screen now, the customer view, is going to change from all customers to just this one customer. So I can look at their orders to ship, any late orders, what total credit's been extended to them. In this case, it says I have one opportunity. And this is the opportunity that happens to be open for this customer. If I go back to the customer view and clear that out, it then brings me back to my entire customer. This is a 360-degree view that everyone is always talking about when looking at customers. Everything that you want to know about them can be put onto one page. Now, if I go to opportunities, these are all of the opportunities that I have currently open within the system. You'll see that each of these tabs is actually a unique report that was defined within the system. Also, these are the headings on the report. They're not static whatsoever. If for some reason I wanted to move a column over, let's say I wanted to move status right next to opportunity, I would just move it over to on the page. It's that easy. Also, if the report is too big, I can actually go in and reduce the number of columns or add columns based on what I'm looking for. We can also control the color of the different columns. Like in these are all late, so I've got got them flagged as red. If I've got an opportunity that's not assigned, notice I've got this in yellow, so you can have little quick visual warnings of things that need to happen within the system. Now I'm going to go back. Actually, if I want, I'm going to look at a particular one here. Let's bring up 376. And this is one of the opportunities that I have within the system. It gives me, the information. It's got what the stage that it is in within the system. It's got a little warning here. It's telling me one or more of the settings cannot be modified because a primary quote has been submitted to the customer. And we'll talk about quotes in a moment. But it's giving me all those kinds of warnings. I've got documents that are attached to the system. Emails have been sent. And this is the email that was sent, when it was sent, who it was sent to, the amount of the quote. So we're constantly looking at the information within the system. I'm going to continue a little bit on with navigation. Now on this side of the screen, this is what we call our workspace. The workspace is controlled based on what your role is. So if you're a receivables person, you're not going to see payroll, you're not going to see finance and estimating. It only shows you those workspaces that are defined by the role that you have within the system. And that's controlled by your login. You log in once into the system. If I do go into the workspace, for instance, for sales orders, this becomes a menu of the items that are available to you. We've got tiles across the top. Then we've got every single workspace, excuse me, is broken down into workable sets. For instance, in this case, we've got transactions, automated operations, profiles, and so on. Every screen will look the same. What's also nice is that this is what they call, this is the short menu. If I do a show all, it then shows me all the options that are available to me. And then I can control as the user what is on the short menu versus what's on the long menu. And again, it's remembering me so that when I log in anywhere, it remembers my requirements for that particular screen. Another thing that you'll see me using in the system is what we call universal search. The universal search works within the entire product and searches screens, menus, the database itself. So for instance, let's say if I put in the universal search, if I type in 1099, oops, help if I type right, it then comes back and tells me these are all the available menu items available to me for the 1099. Under this heading, I can actually look at transactions and profiles for the 1099. This help topic brings up our extensive online help system, which is very detailed within the package. And then if there are any files waiting to go out for 1099s, they would be actually able to go out as well. You'll see me using the universal search from time to time because it's a shortcut to go to different menus. And that's pretty much what I wanted to cover on the navigation side of life. So what I'm going to do is now, since we're here to talk about CRM, I'm going to bring up a screen that Jay had in his earlier presentation, which was the CRM flow. Acumatica provides a seamless ERP and CRM solution that works together for a single source of organizational truth. We utilize sales automation for lead and contact management, activity task management, and opportunity and quote management. We take advantage of marketing information for marketing emails, marketing campaigns, which are seamlessly connected to accounts receivable, and even utilize support management for case and support tickets, because case management is for existing customers, but we also consider that part of CRM because it's customer resource management. Acumatica CRM workflow is seamlessly connected from the moment the lead enters the system, whether it be from the Outlook plugin, a mobile app, an import, or a website capture. And that's the areas on the left-hand side. This is how leads get entered into the system. We have an Outlook add-in, which works with Outlook Exchange, and it also works with Office 365. So that if a lead comes in, you can actually click on it. It directly connects into Acumatica and can update that lead within the system. If using the mobile app, which we'll look at later, you can actually add leads while you're in the field with the mobile app. If you buy lists, if you're at a show or you just buy commercial lists, you can take those lists and then import them directly into the system. And also, if you have informational capture on your website, if your website captures the data, creates a flat file, we can then take that information and load it directly into the system. What's nice there is everything here becomes a lead, and then there's what's called an assignment phase. Now, the assignment phase can be automated or manual. Manual is when you would just assign a particular salesperson to a lead, or if we do it automated, we have some very sophisticated automation rules that you can say, based on maybe zip code, company size, SIC code, NAICS code that the customer belongs to, and based on those criteria, you then determine which salesman is going to be assigned to that particular lead. And then what's kind of nice is we also have notifications within the system, so as leads get assigned, a text or an email could be actually sent out to the salesperson, letting them know that, hey, this new lead has been assigned to you. Here's the information. The text and the email can both have what are called hot links, which then go directly back to Acumatica so they can look at the detail within it. Within those leads, we define the contacts, and then moving forward, once a lead is worked with the system, then they turn into opportunities, which also support the pipeline reports. And then, of course, as I said earlier, dealing with support. These are support cases once they've actually become a customer itself. Once a lead is brought in, it's got the assignment that's done. Those leads are maintained through activity management, assigned through the automated assignment rule, which I just said, converted to contacts and customers, and moved all the way through to the opportunity. Acumatica CRM workflow is seamlessly connected from the moment that the lead comes into the system. I'm going to go over to the Sales Manager card here. Within Acumatica, each user has a tailored dashboard that displays the information that they need to do their job. The Sales Manager can stay on top of the daily activities of the sales team, everything from quota views to key customer charts, all the way through deal size trends. Individual sales reps will have a personalized view of Acumatica. And these are the things that the individual sales rep was involved in. Their new leads, that people that they haven't contacted within 14 days, no nurture calls within 30 days, sales revenue, sales deals. This pipeline we're going to talk about, each one of these headings is defined within the opportunity to help us build an accurate pipeline of what's being worked on. Also, on this particular screen, let's say the salesman is paid on receipt of cash. He actually can see what's past due and what the overdue accounts are, so that he can become involved in that part of the system. If I click on leads, I'm going to say all records just to see them all. Here on this list is all the leads within the system, and Acumatica provides tools such as lead classes, which is over here, to help me differentiate between different types of leads. Maybe they're interested in sales, maybe they're interested in service. Doesn't matter how many classes you define, you assign them as the lead comes into the system. Because of the seamless connection with the marketing side of the house, I can also categorize my leads based on the source that we received. So under the source column, I've got things like campaign, organic search, other referrals. And I can then sort down these reports in different manners so that I know historically where the leads are coming from. What I'll do, just to show you a real quick thing on the universal search, if I just type in lead, for instance, it brings up the menu real quickly, and I can just go back to leads, and it comes back and shows me the same screen. Just another way of getting to the information. Now I'm going to look up a lead for that I happen to know that's out there for Al Bumbury. So I'm going to say, there he is. Okay, so here's Al. It's a new lead. Who owns it? This is the owner for it. The source was other at this point. What's nice is when you put a lead in the system, there's just minimal information needed to get them into the system. And then as you collect more information on that lead, you can keep going back and adding information to it. Like for instance, here I've got his contact info. I've got his name, his email, and so on, which is actually pretty good. If there's been any activities done with this, in this case, yeah, there's been a few. I've done a proposal, I've done a couple of phone calls. What's nice is as you work more and forward with this particular prospect, everything is recorded within the system. And what's also nice is these little paper clips refer to the fact that you can store documents within it. So if there's a follow-up letter that's sent, or there's a follow-up email, the emails would actually be stored as part of it. If there's a drawing involved, let's say somebody has a drawing and they mark up a drawing and they say, this is what I'm looking for, you can actually then attach that to this process as well. This is the CRM info with the last activities. If there are any attributes, now you can mark these as required, and you'll see what I'll bring up another one where you can talk about, what industry are they in, number of employees, company revenue, and so on. If there are any relations, or let's say there were campaigns that they were involved in. Right now, it's brand new, so there was nothing there. And if they came from a marketing list, you could actually put down what list that came from. And if I go back and I do, let's see, I had another guy, let's see, Abel West. He's another one that I had out there. Now he's also a new one. Activities haven't happened yet. Now in this case, we have an attribute, he said, looking for food items. So basically you have unlimited use of the leads within the system, and they can stay there, and you can do all kinds of actions against these leads. As soon as the lead enters the system, you can connect it back, as I just showed, to the marketing automation tool so that you know where they came from, what they're interested in. When their leader content indicates that they're ready to move forward, we can begin to create what's called an opportunity to identify components of that sale. So if I go over to my opportunities, and I'll bring up, for fun, I'll bring up 347. So here's an opportunity for this particular item. It shows here under activities, we've had a Skype meeting with them. Again, document details, estimates, and so on. In the top right corner, you'll see that there's a price roll-up of everything that we've put together for this particular opportunity. And internally, it uses the, Acumatica has a very extensive pricing engine, which allows us to then calculate breakpoints and contract prices for a particular individual as well. Opportunities are also used to manage pipelines, which are referred to back on the other screen. Under the Details tab, you'll see this probability. Well, actually, yeah, the stage is called development. Development is one of the ones that we define within the system. These come automatically. You have complete control over these. These are the tabs you saw when I brought up the pipeline. They were the descriptions underneath each one of the columns. So in this case, this person is under development. Within our system, we define development as a probability of 20%, and there's dollar amount associated with it. If I changed it from development to proof, it now changes to 60% and with the appropriate dollar change. So as you're working through the life of the opportunity, you can keep it up to date, the pipeline is up to date, and things are changing. The other thing you can do is within our system, we have event manager type things, which allows us to say when something changes, notify someone. So you can say when the probability changes from one level to the next, you can then notify the sales manager or the salesperson. These stages are all defined within the system, but they're modified to match your business requirements. In this case, under quotes, if you notice, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 quotes for this particular opportunity. The checkbox, you have to have one as the primary, and we can look at that quote. And this is the quote within this system. This happens to be a labor quote, so it's got consulting and some labor. I can copy the quote for something else. I can send it via email. If I print the quote out, this is just a standard using our report writer that generates the form, allows you to put in your logos and move things around on the page. Pretty standard quote. When they're ready to, and as I showed under the quotes, there were 4, and they could be, you're not limited to the number of quotes. So if you have different quantities, let's say, that's probably a bad example because you probably put that on one quote. But you can have different combination of parts on the for different quotes, and then you have a history of all the quotes that are put together for that particular opportunity. Once you're ready to go ahead and move forward with that opportunity, so here I've got one. It's a quote. If I go to quotes, look, I've got one quote out there. It's telling me that, again, the primary quote has been submitted, so it's waiting for me to do something with it. So a lot of things can happen here. I can actually turn around and I can actually create a new quote. I can create an order from this quote. So that way, again, I'm not retyping anything within the system. And everything from the minute I started with them to the point where I create a sales order, all of that detail is flowing through with me on the information. Oh. So for instance, if I'm ready to go, I can click on under my actions, I can create sales order. And if you'll notice on the left-hand side, well, after I answer these questions, I can recalculate prices based on my current pricing rules. I can recalculate discounts. In either case, I'm going to leave them alone. I'm going to click OK. And you'll notice on the left-hand side where it says opportunities up here in the screen, it should change over to sales orders. So now I'm actually in Acumatica's sales order system as if I was typing in a brand new sales order. But since I've already got it as a quote, all the information is available on the quote. It now brings it over again to the sales order. I do not type a single bit of data. Now I have the ability to at some point in here to change anything I want to. Very easy to do. I'm just going to back out of here. And that pretty much grabs me from a lead to an opportunity to a quote to a sales order. Now, the other things we can work with is under the marketing module, we've got marketing lists. From a marketing standpoint, you can create and manage marketing lists directly inside of Acumatica. These lists can be either static or dynamic. A dynamic list meaning that the selection criteria is determined for the list will also be in effect. Who's currently on the list? Well, let's see. In this example, we're seeing that all of our leads are new. So if I do new leads, and I do my selection criteria, again, plain English throughout the package, I'm saying I want to, for my new lead marketing list, I want the status equal to created created on this month and must equal a lead. That way it would then generate based on these rules. I also have the ability to also put in static members as part of this list. So I can have one that's created automatically, brand new leads every month, and then there may be 10 that I constantly want on this list at all times. Also, if you notice this little icon right here, it says load records from file. This is a very powerful tool, and it's throughout all of Acumatica in all of the different modules. What this allows me to do is from a flat Excel file, I can then, using a standard template, I can then create my list of information and import it directly into Acumatica. So I'm not rekeying anything, and I'm not making mistakes as I'm typing. It's all there. The other thing we can do is mass emails within the system. These are all the different IDs within the system. Like here's one. It fully supports HTML, so you can actually create a document with your logo and all the information to them, and then you can source it to which list you want to source it to and create a mail merge. So again, it automatically goes through the system within, it uses Office 365 to send everything out. Another thing that we can do that's part of the module are what's called marketing campaigns. This is where we define the different campaigns. Now, in this case, let's say I'm going to look at the partner campaign. It's got its a campaign ID. You've got a start date, a budget, expected return, and then you can look at things. You can look at activities that have occurred with it. Look at members of that campaign, generated leads from that campaign, and then what opportunities were generated from those leads that were generated in the campaign. So what's kind of neat here is you can define, and a campaign could be just anything. Let's say you do a bunch of trade shows. Each trade show could actually be considered a marketing campaign. So so you'd say, here's trade show 1, 2, 3. These are all the leads that were generated from it. And then you can see, okay, we've got leads and then we've got opportunities. So you can actually monetize it and say, this show was good for this particular item, and we actually paid for the booth and everything involved with it. So that works out really, really well. Also, we have a thing called import. What that does from an integration standpoint, oops. Oh. One of the things we do is we have standard what are called import scenarios, which are looking at standardized file formats outside of Acumatica, which can then bring data directly into Acumatica. For in this case, I happen to pick HubSpot. I can, if you're working with HubSpot, which is a very popular program for generating leads, if I go into import for HubSpot, it then has all the information for me to determine what the file layouts are, and we've got these already predetermined within the system. So you can do it for HubSpot. We also support Sales Logics, so that, again, you're not keying data in. Everything is coming directly from the file within itself. Going back to the CRM mode for a moment, I'm going to go to the Support Manager, which was the last part of that screen. On the Support Manager, these are how you define what you, depending on your business, what kind of support you're providing to your customer base. So in this case, we've got, this is the manager's point. So we've got open cases, overdue cases, unassigned cases, all these different metrics of what's going on within the customers themselves. We consider it a critical aspect of the Acumatica CRM. You can manage both internal and external support cases, and then use a dashboard like this to help keep you a bird's eye view of everything that's occurring within the customers. The Support Manager is getting instant visibility into high priority cases and workload among a support team, because again, keep in mind, this is all real-time data that's updated as information is flowing into the system. These cases can be entered internally, captured from our customer portal, or even entered from a mobile device. You can also use activity management, as we've seen from earlier. Now, I will make a note on the customer portal. The customer portal is part of Acumatica, and what it allows customers to do, again, given security rights, is they can actually log into their account, and they can see things like, what have I ordered over the past 6 months? What are my open invoices? They can enter orders actually from the portal and say, hey, I ordered this last month, I want to order it again. They can click a button and it creates the order within the system. It then, depending on security levels, would go on to a hold status, and then someone would review it and release it. But it's keeping down a lot of the calls, the day-to-day calls to the customer service department. For instance, if people are looking for a tracking number, they can actually go to the portal, look at their history, and they can actually find their own tracking numbers if they want to. So there's a lot of control that you can do within that portal itself. Acumatica has a native mobile app, which is available on the Apple and the Android stores. This means you can manage your interaction with clients from your smartphone or from a tablet. And I'm going to log in. I'm going to go into, I'm going to bring mine up. Hopefully it stayed logged in. Okay, this is the Acumatica app. I'm running this on my iPhone, and I'm just mirroring it to the screen. As you'll see, there's quite a few menu selections that are available to me. I can do things like expense, like if I'm a salesman in the field, I can do expense claims. I can enter leads within the system. I can enter opportunities within the system. I can add new contacts. It can even enter sales orders if I needed to, prospects, purchase orders, the whole gamut within the system. For instance, if I click on, let's see, and hopefully it'll connect. This happens to be the opportunity screen. This is the exact same information that I saw when I was looking at opportunities. So I have access to it. I can look at it. I can update it. Again, assuming I have the roles to be able to do it. Also, you can display the tabs within the system. I happen to pick field service, but it's available for any of the menus within the system. It also takes advantage of the functionality of the phones themselves. So for instance, if I'm putting in an expense report, I can go in and actually attach files. So I can take pictures of receipts and so on within the system. It's also kind of a neat thing. If you're at a customer site, you want to take notes, you can attach them to an opportunity. What some people use, like what I mentioned, field service earlier, they go out, they look at the machine, they go, oh, wow, look how bad this is. They can take a picture of it and attach it to their work order so that they're keeping track of everything. The nice thing is it's all stored in one single database within the system. So as Acumatica, you don't have to worry about backing up 3 different databases. It's all within Acumatica. Any information that enters Acumatica through the mobile app is instantly connected to the rest of the workplace. Again, real time. There's no updates that happen at a later date. Acumatica provides a seamless ERP and CRM solution that work together for a single source of organizational truth, and that gives you a 360-degree view of your relationships to customers. It improves your customer service with instant notifications, dashboards, and KPIs. You can then capture and understand all of your lead metrics. You can track your marketing campaigns individually and all the associated expenses with those. You then empower your customers to access financial support information through the self-service portal that I mentioned earlier. This is where I wanted to end with our CRM overview, and I would like to then pass this over to Derek. Thank you.
All right, excellent. Thanks so much, Bob. I'm going to take control back over from you and keep things moving along here. I love that interface with the mobile thing, especially. It's like literally the whole app is there, right? So let's see. Let's go to my presentation.
Oh, and I forgot to mention that the app is free on the App Store.
Oh, great. All right, excellent. So we did get a couple of questions that came in. So let's go ahead and get to those real quick. First and foremost, Jay, I'll let you take this one since Bob just wrapped up. Maybe so we can grab a quick drink of water or something. Is there a separate license requirement to use that mobile app?
No, there is not. It comes with the package, and it integrates with everything that you would normally get if you were working at a workstation, laptop, etc. And you can access it there. It, in addition, works with the roles and rights of the users, and therefore you could, prevent people from getting into areas that you really don't want them to.
Gotcha. Great. So I guess another question related to the mobile app. Can a sales rep check on the status of an order, for example, accessing shipping information and such through the mobile app?
Yes, you can. You have total functionality on the mobile app as well as at any other location. You can check on status. You can you can interact with your customer at the time and input information. And another nice thing that I mentioned is you have the ability to not only just type things in that you might want, but you can oftentimes in many of the applications just speak into the phone like you can if you were just doing a text, and it will record that for you as well.
Excellent. All right. So another question we got from the audience was related to the quoting and estimating portion within there. They utilize a lot of drawings and documents and things like that, blueprints and the such as it relates to their quoting process. And they were wondering if there was a means of attaching those to that particular quote or project versus right now they have a very separate area where they manage that stuff, and so they're hoping to consolidate that and keep a little better track of all of those things for the individual customers. Can
Sure.
you talk about
Sure. On quotes, and virtually almost anything that you're processing with, you can store notes, you can store files, videos, pictures, anything, any of that information you can add with the, let's say like an opportunity or a quote or a sales order. And that way you have it with it and it travels with it throughout its movement through the system.
All right, excellent. Okay, last question that I'm seeing in the portal. So the sales manager dashboards that you showed, do those come standard, or is that something that needs to be customized?
No,
I'll take
okay.
that.
All right.
Yeah, Jay.
No. All of the dashboards that I showed are right out of the box. There's about 30 some dashboards, and basically, what they did at Acumatica is they kind of picked the things that they thought most people would want to see on that given dashboard. So you get that as your good starting point, and then you have the ability to say, hey, I'm going to work with that, but I want to add one or two things, or you have the option of just creating your own. but at least you've got a good, solid starting spot.
And are there special tools that are built into it to so people can customize their own reporting?
Yes, all the tools are included in the modules, and part of our implementation is we actually, some people don't want to learn it, but part of our implementation is that we will actually teach you how to do that.
All right. Okay. Cool. Yeah. I mean, it's nice, right, that it's built in. I know a lot of our existing clients have to use products like Crystal and such to get to the reporting that they really want. And so it's nice that they've got that kind of out of the box. And doesn't require a ton of customization. So. All right, great. Well, that looks like it's the end of the questions, so I'm going to keep moving forward here. Just as a bit of next steps for you, Adonis Group prides itself on being a trusted advisor and partner to everybody that we work with. As such, we try to stay on top of all of the current topics and subject matters, and create a lot of original content and provide you with additional useful resources. Right? Again, as an advisor, trying to be unbiased on as it relates to certain topics and so forth. And so, that said, obviously, if you're interested in doing an additional conversation about your environment, whether that be for an Acumatica situation or otherwise, please, feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to have a sit down and talk about whatever pain points you might be dealing with. If you're in this webinar, I've already added you to my distribution list, so you'll be getting our newsletters moving forward. Obviously, you have the ability to opt out from that at any time. Please feel free to keep an eye on Adonis.com. We're always putting evergreen and fresh content out there. And obviously, we do these webinar events, lunch and learns, at least once a month right now. And as things seem to be opening up, we're looking at doing some more in-person types of activities as well. It's nice to see your names in the chat bar, but it's better to see your smiling faces, right? So we're trying to keep that going as things open up. So. That said, we've kind of reached the end of our presentation. So, thanks again for staying out and on along with us. Hope everything was useful and informative. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. We're always here to help you out, and hope you enjoyed your lunch. So, thanks again.